Whole lot of gang shit. It's a whole lot of gang shit going on. What's happening? What's cracking? How you living? How is you living? This is Lady Rev with episode 4 of Talking Outside the Neck. We've been talking out the side of the neck for 4 episodes. Ooh, kill 'em. Welcome back, y'all. Another day, another dollar. Today, I am going to be talking about committing to change. Okay, that's what this convo is going to be about. Hold on, let me put my, forgot to put my thing on. So let me just do that razzle dazzle real quick. Boom, bam, data. So yeah, committing to change. I have just 2 notes to guide my conversation. I'm going to try to stay on track with it. My mind's in a couple different places, so forgive me if I fall off and I lose pace of where I'm at or whatever. Like, I'm trying to get in a couple different things in this little bit of time. Okay, so for one, my first note is, what do you have to do to create permanent change in your life? Okay, now, this ain't no quick answer type shit. Like, I don't want you to like spend like 30 minutes thinking about some shit and like, you know what, boom, I just gotta do whoop-de-whoop. I gotta do whoop, whoop, whoop. These couple steps and then bam, I'm a new motherfucker. Bam. Like that happening. Nah, because it's not that simple. It's really not that simple. Like when you're really trying to create permanent change or permanent transformation, I try to be delicate with the word change because sometimes we hear the word change as if like what you had before was bad, what you were doing previously was bad. So we're not saying change in that aspect. I don't ever want to speak in that aspect because I want to remind you that you have the power to control what is good and bad for you and how you define that for yourself in your life. So I'm not saying nothing about nothing being bad. That's not my point. But to transform, right, to create permanent transformation, the key word is permanent here. It requires a little bit more than you like coming up with a tally list. You know what I'm saying? It requires a little bit more than just like spending 30 minutes one day thinking about like how you gonna get to your next step type shit. Like, nah, permanent change is like your attitude. You know what I'm saying? Your attitude towards life, your attitudes towards yourself and others. Permanent change refers to how you manage your time. You know what I'm saying? How you manage your resources and stuff like that. So that's what I mean by permanent change. And so all of those things take time. All of them take time. Now, I'm not saying it should take 5 years, but then again, who knows? Like, you own your own fucking pace. You're on your own track with it. But what do you need to create that permanent change in yourself? Now, sorry if this sounds fucked up. I'm taking this off. But yeah, what do you need? And you have to be able to kind of say like what the fuck you need. Like, the next motherfucker can't tell you. I mean, they could try to help you create your own shit, but we're talking about self-mastery here. We're talking about honoring self. And so if your shit is coming from everybody but you, bruh, I don't know how long that'll last. Like, I don't know if that will create permanent change, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't control it. So anything that's outside of your control, like, that's not something you should be like putting your whole life transformation on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a hit or a miss. You got more power and more return if you do it for yourself and commit to it for yourself. So I'm literally just asking this question, like, what do you have to do to create permanent change? Now, one of the ideas that I have personally to create permanent change or permanent transformation in your life is to have healthy boundaries. I talked about boundaries a little bit before, but I think this is a good space for me to talk about boundaries in a little bit more detail. I'll say there's levels to this boundary shit, right? Right, because we want to be equitable. Everybody can't have every piece of you. And everybody shouldn't have access to every piece of you. And I don't want to say this in the weird ass way that I see on social media, because I was just really thinking about today, like how social media is now created to fetish shit. And to fetish behaviors, attributes, all kind of shit. So much so that we are no longer becoming or no longer being our truest selves or being comfortable with being our truest selves. So I'm not saying it in that way. I'm not saying it in some bougie ass like classism type shit. That's not what I'm getting at. It's more so about you, right? Okay, so let me back up a little bit. We have boundaries to keep ourselves safe. Boundaries are not for the benefit of other motherfuckers. You don't have boundaries because you want other people to feel good, or you want other people to feel safe, or you want other people to be satisfied. You have boundaries so that you can do those things for yourself. Keep yourself safe, keep yourself satisfied, keep yourself in a certain space in mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do that with boundaries. So with that, there's two levels to this shit. For one, you need to have some universal boundaries, okay? Universal shit. That means that this shit don't change no matter who you with, where you with, or I'm sorry, where you at, what you're doing, who's around, the circumstance, context, whatever. Universal shit that just do not change. You do not let up for no fucking body. The reason universal boundaries are important is because universal boundaries sets the tone for the entire world. Universal boundaries let strangers know how to treat you. Your family knows how to treat you. Your friends, you know what I'm saying? It sets a tone that everyone can follow. And it gives some type of consistency so a motherfucker kind of just, it helps cement expectations, if that makes sense. Like, one of my universal boundaries, just as an example, I need to make sure I get my 8 hours of sleep at night, okay? My phone goes on D&D at the same time every motherfucking night, okay? Don't nobody know what time that motherfucker cut on. They don't know what time the motherfucker cuts off. You get what I'm saying? It's none of their business. But I tell you this, I don't give a fuck if I'm on the phone or not. That D&D goes on, and it's on. I'm not fucking with nobody after a certain amount of time, yo. During my sleeping hours, I do not fuck with people. And until that D&D is off, which I said, nobody knows the time it goes off, I do not talk to people. I'm not taking calls. I'm not taking texts. If I want to, it's my choice. You know what I'm saying? But like, either way, you motherfuckers is getting this voice message, okay? And I don't feel no type of way about it. Now, of course, there are people who have made me, have complained about this boundary and was like, man, what if it's an emergency happening and whoop, and somebody need to get through your phone and whoop. Take it how you want, bro. The emergency is going to still be there when my ass gets up and looks at that goddamn phone. So, yeah. That's just a universal boundary that I have, though, to make sure that I get some rest. Because I need good quality rest. We all do. But that's the first level to it. You need to have some universal boundaries that everybody and their motherfucking mama going to have to follow for you. It just gives you some cement expectations. Now, the other thing is you can be equitable. You can be flexible with your boundaries based on who you're dealing with. Now, be real with yourself, okay? Because this is like committing to change. Be real with yourself. Your intuition, your spiritual body and shit tells you who you should and should not be flexible with, okay? Now, and sometimes we second guess ourselves. Oh, excuse me. Sometimes we second guess ourselves like, damn, man. Well, I know Wooty will be a little all over the place, but I'm gonna let up a little bit and give them this opportunity to see what's gonna happen. For what? For what? Why give a motherfucker the opportunity to disappoint you if you feel like they're going to disappoint you? You want to be surprised? You know what's more surprising? That you stood your goddamn ground. To me, that's surprising. Wow, you did that in the midst of all of this pressure. You stood your ground? That is some shit I want to hear. I don't want to hear some bullshit about like, oh yeah, no, I let up. I gave this motherfucker a chance. They didn't come through, but it's okay. A lesson learned. No, fuck that. In the process of committing to permanent change, we ain't just taking lessons all willy-nilly up in this bitch. You should not be learning the same motherfucking lesson 6 goddamn times. At this point, you're the fucking problem. Fuck you mean you're learning the same goddamn lesson? What? Fuck out of here. So Universal boundaries, equitable boundaries. It's up to you to be flexible with your boundaries. But as we talked about in the last episode, like recognizing choices, just make sure you really level out, assess the consequences of you being flexible with your boundaries with certain people. And are you willing to accept those consequences or not? And if you're not, you know my answer. It's going to be a no for me, dog. It's going to be a no for me. So have some universal boundaries that just flows across work, school, home, friends, family, whatever. And then you can be flexible with those boundaries at your own leisure under your own decision-making process. All of this is ownership. All of this is self-mastery shit. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, because I'm telling y'all and talking to myself simultaneously. You know what I'm saying? I have very strict boundaries. And I've had phases where I've been a little more flexible with my boundaries than I usually am or some shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? I'm very, very conscious of the flexibility of my boundaries. And I understand, man, it's hard motherfucking work to get a motherfucker to understand, respect your boundaries. I don't need a motherfucker to appreciate them. I don't need you to like them. I don't need none of that shit. That shit don't mean shit to me. That's not what's gonna keep me safe and keep my boundaries valid. All I really need is for a motherfucker to understand and respect them. Barely understand. Just respect my boundaries. But the way you make that easier for people is consistency. Be consistent. Now, if one day you saying this and the next day you saying that and then the third day you a whole motherfucking different person, shit, that's hard to fucking follow. That's really fucking hard to follow. So if you get some mixed shit from motherfuckers, is it their fault? Like, really? I think it might be your fault, sis, because you're a weirdo. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. You ain't a weirdo, but it's just like, bro, who are you? Who are you? You don't even know who you are. You don't know who you want to be. So how am I supposed to know how to treat you? You know what I'm saying? Like, we set that tone. We set that tone with boundaries. So I'm gonna push the issue on that always. Boundaries are essential to happy, healthy living. Okay? So figure out some universal boundaries. Take your time in setting those boundaries. It takes time for people. I call it the transition phase. It's a transition period from when people are learning the new aspects that you're trying to go about in your life. You have to give time, space, and patience for motherfuckers to learn your new shit. And that's why you have to be consistent, because they're learning it too. We're all fucking learning together. It takes a village. Okay, so do that. Commit to that. My other note here is about committing to change. It says, no amount of opportunities, second chances, forgiveness, nothing matters if you can't commit to your own personal change. So yeah, it's really easy to be like, man, I gotta get my shit together. I gotta get my life together. I'm gonna commit to whoop-de whoop 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 when your ass is down and out. When your ass is sitting in jail, or you on your last motherfucking dollar, or maybe you're homeless now, or, you know what I'm saying? When you on rock bottom, okay? When you on rock bottom, it's very easy to make all these promises to self. Like, you know, this the last motherfucking time I'm going to jail. This the last motherfucking time I quit a job, or this the last motherfucking time I get this low. It's really easy to say that type of shit when you on your bottom, son. Shit, I've done it multiple fucking times. Like, nigga, man, by this time next year, I'm gonna be a whole new motherfucker. But the moment that stress and pressure is gone, your ass is right back to the same motherfucking habits, bro. Nah. So sit and take your fucking time and figure out, what do I need to do to create permanent transformation, permanent change in my life and circumstance? What do I need to do? What can I do? Not nobody else. Because I hate a motherfucker that point fingers. Nobody but you. Nobody but you. What can you do? What do you need to do? What kind of support do you need to get to that? I think it's best to even sit and ponder this when you're not under stress and pressure. If you, like I said, under stress and pressure, You know, we're in fucking survival mode. Most of us live in fucking survival mode, right? So we don't even fucking know that like all of that surviving shit is playing on our ability to make decisions and shit. And so we might not make the best choice. We just might not make the best choice. That's just being realistic, bruh, because you're under hella pressure and stress. What do you need to do to not be under that pressure and stress so that you can make and manifest the life that you want for yourself? What can you do? I mean, it's up to us every time, son. It's gonna always be up to us. And a motherfucker can give you plenty of money, opportunity. Excuse me. Everybody can tell you about your potential. All of that cute shit. But if you don't commit to it, you don't take the steps that you need to take, you don't initiate this process or whatever, all of that shit will be in vain. It'll all be in vain. You'll get up, go back down, get up, go back down, get up, go back down. And it'll just be like an endless fucking cycle till you die. Now, I'm not really interested in them type of cycles till I die. I'm really not. And you know, we out here trying to break so many curses. We out here trying to break so many habits and behaviors that were passed down to us that we just don't even really agree with, that don't sit right with us. You know what I'm saying? So do what you gotta do, big dog. Do what you got to do. And I know it's intimidating. I know it can be scary. And quite frankly, motherfuckers, especially when it comes to boundaries, motherfuckers will push to see if you gonna let up. Motherfuckers will keep trying to see if they can get a different result. That's okay. That's okay. We love stubborn people. It's okay. Because we can show you better than we can tell you. That's all. Lead by example, motherfucker. Show them. Show them. Be consistent. And I promise you, over time, the power that comes from that shit, son. I don't know if y'all ever watched Raising Dion, but like the young boy powers, or the bad dude, like his powers got greater and greater the more he like absorbed other people's bullshit, but he played the hella coy in the meantime. But that's almost like the analogy I want to use for maintaining boundaries and space and shit for yourself and committing to your change. Is like you'll start to absorb power from areas of your life that you didn't even know you had power in the first place. And all of that power compounded with each other. Motherfucker, you gonna feel like you can motherfucking provide electricity to a whole goddamn city. Okay? That shit is a great feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. To know that every aspect of your life is controlled by you. Because you've set certain things into motion, or you've made certain intentional decisions, because you've committed to permanent change, or whatever it may be. Like, there is no greater feeling than mastery of self. So whatever you got to do to make that shit happen, figure that the fuck out and make it happen, Cappy. That's all. Excuse me. I drank 2 sodas. I really don't drink a lot of sodas, so it gives me a lot of gas. Just being real. But yeah, I wish the best for you all. Love and light. Be easy, stay breezy. Don't get kidnapped by no white peasies.